Are you done with that? What, the weight that's literally in my arm right now? What do you think, Poindexter? Like Sherlock Holmes has just walked in. Oh, I figured out the crime. Yeah, because the dead body's right there, and we just captured the criminal who's doing it, Sherlock. Simon Miller, the bald asshole here, and it's Monday. It's a brand new week. We all survived the weekend. Put a bunch of silly content up over the last few days. A couple of people were confused. Look, I'm just having some fun. We're back to nice, normal fitness stuff today. If you check the channel out last week, 2 weeks ago, whenever the hell it was, we did some unwritten rules in the gym that are dumb, that are stupid ones. Like the person that thinks that they've, this bench is mine for the entire gym session because I put a towel on it. Like a towel is some kind of magical key lock. It is not. But actually, there are rules that you should listen to in the gym that aren't necessarily made clear, even if you have gone to a gym before. Sometimes you have to make these mistakes to learn them. So I thought that was pretty useful. Gyms are now slowly opening up over the world, not here in the UK. It's rumoured, maybe in mid-July. I can go have a picnic in a car showroom, but I can't go to the gym. But look, health and safety first, health and safety first. But when you are returning to the gym, or maybe throughout lockdown and everything that's been going on, you have decided, I want to go to a fitness centre when I can. Here are 8 unwritten rules that you definitely need to listen to. Number 8 is don't grunt. Now, I don't mean if you're actually doing a big lift or you need to grunt. I am talking about the people that will grunt even when they're lifting 10 kilogram weights. Now, look, I think if you're doing 10 kilogram weights, you're kicking ass, you're rocking it, I massively respect you. You lift what you can lift, and it's nobody else's business. But when you see big dudes doing, and this is based on my own experiences, but you see big dudes with 10 kilogram dumbbells doing, like shoulder presses or whatever, and they're going, and I'm not making it up. I recorded this. This was before, obviously, lockdown. Listen to this. This guy is literally, obviously, I couldn't film him actually doing it because I would look like a psychopath, but I promise you, he was lifting 10 kilograms in each hand. What is that? What is going on? He sounds like some kind of elephant trying to give birth, and it really is frustrating. I was over the other side of the gym, and I was like, if I go around that corner and he's not deadlifting like 400 kilograms, I'm not going to do anything because I'm that kind of a guy. Just put my headphones in and forget about it. But I listen to my music way too loud in the gym. I've got tinnitus as it is, and I need to learn. I'm a stupid moron. I can hear him over my loud metal music. Just don't do it. Don't grunt. Like if you want to make I'm not saying lift in silence. This would be weird. I expect there to be some kind of atmosphere, but you do not need to do that. What's the noise? Brr, brr. Oh, it drives me. Not only does it drive me insane, but it will drive everybody else in the gym insane, including the person grunting at some point. That's how it works. Number 7, look, it's a nice and simple one, and you think everybody would have learned this, but they don't. Put your weights back. Like, don't just do it because then the next person that wants to use those 20 kilogram dumbbells or that 10 kilogram plate, they'll know where to look because it's in the right place. But also, be nice to the people working in the gym. Now, this isn't really an unwritten rule because most gyms will have a big sign that says, please put your weight backs. Some people even pretend they're going to suspend memberships, which they never do because they're desperate for subscriptions, so they'll never do that. But that sign may as well say, ignore this sign. Nobody listens to the sign. Sometimes when I'm in a little bit of a petty mood, I go up and clean up to other people. I'm like, what are you doing, Simon? Like a mum going, stupid kids need to grow up. Just put them back. If you really want a way to justify it in your head, I mean, this is a stupid reason, but it's like you've got a little bit of an extra workout, right? If you've got a couple of 20s or 45s and you need to pick them up and walk them back over to the rack and put them back on, you put your muscles under a little bit more tension. I mean, that is absolutely stupid, but it takes 30 seconds to put your weights back. It really, really, really does. And obviously, sometimes you get the other thing that drives me nuts is somebody will put a 10 and then they'll cover it with a bunch of 20s. And I'll just put it in the right order. I'm not so fussy about that. Putting your weights back, it's not only respectful to the other people going to the gym, it's not only respectful to the gym itself, but it's a good thing to do. Like, you should treat the gym like you would treat your house. That's just how I see it. I just think it makes for a good atmosphere. Number 6, maybe this is a bit more of a pet peeve of mine, but I always see someone doing it. I don't really understand. If you're in the correct area and you're doing it, that's fine. But I would suggest don't airbox in between sets. I don't get it. And there'll be somebody out there watching right now that airboxes. That's cool. I just find it baffling. And you see everyone looking at this guy like, what's he doing? Why is he airboxing? Like you do your bench and they'll get up and they'll go, make that noise too. What is the point? What is the point? I just don't get it. If you have gone there to do some boxing, like most gyms now have an area, I can't remember what it's called now, but those strength areas where they have punching bags and whatnot. I understand doing it in there, but when someone bench presses, gets up, and then bench press, like the strangest thing I've ever seen. And I don't think they're doing it for exercise reasons, because they only airbox for around about 10 to 15 seconds, which isn't really going to do anything. It makes me laugh. Like, I love boxing, watching it, but I got no technique. I've never done boxing outside of, an odd lesson here and there. I would love someone that actually does boxing properly and gets shadow boxing and sparring to look at them and give it a critique. Because I bet 9 times out of people are just like probably about to destroy their rotator cuff or something like that. I don't think you should airbox. Number 5 is if you see someone wearing headphones, just ignore them or accept that they want to be ignored. I did a stupid joke video on this channel. I'll try and remember to put it up there, but I always forget. That it's one of my most frustrating things in the gym. If I've got headphones on, as we've already established, listening into it too loud, and somebody comes up and talks to me, what do they think I'm going to do? And then you take your headphones out, and it's always the same question. Are you finished with that? Well, am I finished with the machine that you've just seen me working out on and I'm stood by? Surprisingly, no, I'm not. If you want to work in, that's fine. We'll talk about that in 1 second. But just, they are wearing headphones because they want to be ignored. That's it. They just want to train and they want to go away. If you have a question you need to ask them, but there is no question you need to ask them, in my opinion. I have a very interesting take about just leaving these people alone. I think you just leave these people alone. If they're hogging a machine, that's different. That way you kind of go into other unwritten gym rule territory. But I would say 9 times out of 10, if somebody is listening to music or they've got their headphones on, pretend they're not there. Just completely ignore them like they're a ghost. And on that note, number 4, don't try and move people mid-set. It's one thing trying to talk to somebody mid-set. Like, what do you think they're going to do? Just stop. Oh, hi, pal. Oh, I'd love to have a chat while I listen. No, but don't try and move them. I get this. Sometimes you'll be stood there and somebody will come past you and they'll try and instead of trying to squeeze past you, they'll try and shift you out the way. Like, dude, I've got heavy weights in my hand. That's not just an unwritten gym rule. That should be a gym rule for life. Don't move other human beings unless you are some form of police officer or some kind of law enforcement and someone's trying to kill somebody else and you need to move them so they don't die. That is it. I can't believe people do this. I still can't believe that when you're lifting weights, somebody will come up and try and have a conversation. What are you hoping, or what are you done with that? What, the weight that's literally in my arm right now? What do you think, Poindexter? Like Sherlock Holmes has just walked in. Oh, I figured out the crime. Yeah, because the dead body's right there and we just captured the criminal who's doing it, Sherlock. Go back to your basement and sort it out. I don't know what I'm talking about. Number 3, you may think is something that doesn't happen, but it absolutely does. Don't stare at people. It's really, if they're doing a massively heavy lift, that's probably the exception because they won't be worried about you anyway. And it's just nature, isn't it? If you see someone doing a 200 kilogram bench or something like that, you may look over and go, holy crap, I totally get that. But you don't. You also get people that literally just stare. And it's really creepy. And then the person lifting the weights will spy them in the mirror, because obviously gyms have at least 6,000 mirrors. And that, not only does it distract you and hurt your concentration, but you'll be doing this. And you won't be concentrating. It's just, it's even worse when it's, someone from the opposite sex doing it to the opposite sex, because then you're just entering a whole new kettle of fish. Don't do that. Don't hit on people in gyms. That's my number 1 rule, if I'm honest. Just don't do it. They're not there to be hit on. You may be surprised to know. But just try not to stare at them. And also, it's worse when an experienced gym guy is doing it to a brand new gym guy, because that's why new gym guys don't want to go, because they think they're going to be judged. And if somebody is staring at them, I completely get it. If your self-confidence is low or you're feeling a little bit, finicky, you are going to think, oh, they're judging me, I shouldn't be here, I shouldn't come back. And you should never be never be made to feel like that in a gym. Don't stare at people. It's a nice, easy rule. You can apply that to life as well. You don't go to the bus stop and go, no. You live in your own little world. In the gym, live in your own little world. Number 2 is a really obvious one, but if you've never been to the gym, you may not know, don't curl in the squat rack. It stands to reason. If you want to do barbell curls, there's barbells everywhere, or there'll be barbell curls. There'll be other barbells you can use for those purposes. And this is more, American gyms seem to have load of squat racks. UK gyms do not. But that's the whole point. My gym has 3 squat racks, right, that you could do squats in. And it's a heavily subscribed gym, so getting onto those squat racks is hard. If somebody is barbell curling in there, when they could literally take the barbell, move it away from the squat rack and do it from the floor, allowing somebody else to squat, that just stands to reason, right? That's just being nice, that's being respectful, that's being thoughtful, it's thinking of others. You can do it if there's literally nobody in the gym, But it's one of those occasions, if somebody comes up to you and asks you to use a squat rack and you are not using it for elevated height purposes, let them use a squat rack. It's the old schoolers, they come. I'm going to imagine almost everyone watching this video has probably heard that. But it's not like anyone says that. Some old school gyms do have signs. Just don't curl in a squat rack. Just don't do it. Everybody will hate you. And number one is let people work in. Now, I personally don't like this. I like to be left alone, as we've mentioned with the headphones. But gyms usually don't have enough equipment to go around, especially during busy times. So, you're going to be resting anyway. So you're not going to be using this particular piece of equipment. You can just stand away from it for, a minute, 90 seconds? No one trains for that long in sets anyway. And just let somebody else use it. I get it. It can be frustrating. It can be annoying. But I much prefer that question than how long have you got left? We've talked about this before. When you say how long have you got left, it's like, get off. It's like, I want to use this right now. And then you get your bee in your bonnet. But, or how many sets have you got left? All that kind of stuff. Just ask to work in. Any good person will let you work in. It will be fine. Because again, like cable machines. I've only got 2 cable machines in my gym. And obviously Mondays, chest bros, everybody wants to use cable machines. But you can share the load. You can share it. Even if someone's wearing headphones, tying into that one, they can just step away. There's no problem with that. And really, it should be made mandatory in all gyms. Unless you're in one of these super duper gyms that has like 7,000 pieces of equipment, then it's fine. But I've never been to a gym like that. And I've been to a lot of gyms. And there you have it, 8 unwritten rules that you need to listen to when you go to the gym. And if we did all this, gym bros will never do it because they're just snorting creatine too much. But if we did all do this, it would make gyms a much nicer place. Either way, I don't care. I'll handle all of this stuff when they open again. I won't moan for at least 6 months because I'll be so happy. But then we'll get to the end of the year and I'll start moaning again. Like the video, share the video, smash the subscribe button, smash the bell. Massively appreciate all the support. I've got a Patreon, patreon.com/Unwritten316. That's how I support myself with all this nonsense. And yeah, we're back to doing sort of more specific fitness stuff this week after the nuts couple of days. I will see you soon.